Yeah, good to see you. Last time we saw you was in June. Picked up a win there. I got to ask, I mean, obviously an impressive performance there. How big of a win was that for you to kind of get off that losing streak, put those behind you?
Yeah, you know, whenever you're on that losing streak, the pressure's on, the doubts are just filling your head, and it just feels so good, and just the weight of the world lifted off your shoulders when you get that win. You're back in the winning column, and just ready to keep that streak alive.
It hasn't been a long time, maybe like 8 months or so, but you had a lot happen in between then and now. So what's the journey been like since then, getting back to this point?
You know, I'm just looking at it as 2020 was the year of growth. You know, I had a fight, 2 fights canceled because of COVID, 1 because of injury. You know, I made a lot of improvements. I switched some things around with camps and trained in Thailand, Extreme Couture, at Genesis, just all around, and I just grew so much, so many improvements, and the world only got to see 1 minute and 15 seconds last year of that, and I call that the Hurricane 2.0, and I feel this is the 3.0 version coming out this Saturday.
Nice. Is there still a home gym, or is it more about just kind of soaking in whatever you can?
Yeah, no, right now I'm with Genesis Training Center and my head coach, Jacob Ramos, and cross-training with Team Elevation with Peter Straub. And but you know me, man, I'm kind of a nomad. I like to travel around. I'm really happy with my coaching right now and just my training partners. So, you know, I'm happy where I'm at for the moment.
It's like you said, you had some fights fall through, but then you get this matchup. What I got to think is kind of appealing, right? I mean, we're talking about a big name in the sport. Was this exciting to get Kelvin Gastelum?
Yeah, you know, absolutely. He's a legend in the sport. He's fought everyone, the who's who, and almost beat the champ, you know. So this is a huge stepping stone up for me. I knew the middleweight division was so full of opportunities, seeing Kevin Holland and Marvin Vettori make these jumps. I knew my time was coming. I thought it was going to come after the Brendan Allen. But, you know, that fight didn't work out. But when one door closes, another opens, and it was a big opportunity, and I jumped on it.
Kelvin's had some setbacks as of late, but I mean, it's against, you know, elite level competition, as you said, almost beat the champ. So how do you evaluate him? I mean, are you seeing a guy that maybe in decline a little bit, or do you still feel like he's in top form?
Yeah, I mean, he could be on a little bit of a decline, but at the same time, we're training for the best Kelvin Gastelum, because when someone's back's against the wall, that's usually when they fight the hardest and train the hardest, and I know that's where he's at now. And so, I mean, I'm training for the best Kelvin Gastelum ever, but I mean, it is hard. You have those doubts and those fears, you know, constantly in your head because you just keep losing. So you almost expect to lose. That's what we were talking about with my coach today. I was almost like so paranoid about getting sick this week. So I'm like, block that out. And so I know he's going through some stuff in his head, but we're prepared to fight the best Kelvin Gastelum yet.
Yeah, obviously I wouldn't ask you to give away your game plan, but in terms of, you know, where your improvements have made, you know, you talk about this kind of growth period. I mean, what's something that you would point to say, look, this is the biggest thing that you're clearly going to see out of me?
You know, I'm going to keep it a little bit of a secret, but you're going to see good mixture. You know, I can't be predictable with this guy. Gastelum has great timing if you stay predictable, and I'm going to make it, you know, just an all-around hurricane fight where it's grimy, it's high pace, and you know, you're going to see some big improvements, and we'll be talking after the fight.
You mentioned kind of this next generation of middleweights that's kind of stepping up now, right? I mean, Where do you feel like a win like this would put you? I mean, do you start talking about matchups with guys like that, or do you want to keep taking out these established veterans to prove your worth? What do you think this gets you?
Yeah, like you said, the middleweight division's full of opportunities. So for me, I mean, I'm focused on getting back in the top 10. Like when I fought Derek Brunson, I learned so many lessons from that. That was a fight that feels similar to this fight, but I feel like a new version. And then we'll just kind of look at and see who's available, right? We got a lot of people scheduled to fight, and obviously I want to stay fighting in people in the top 10. So we just got to kind of take a look with my manager, and you'll definitely hear a shout out or call out on Saturday night.
The last thing for me, I mean, as you said, dominant one last time out, very impressive finish. Kelvin, tough dude. He's been in some battles, right? So what type of fight are you expecting? I mean, do you think you can go in there and get him out quick, or do you have to prepare for, you know, maybe a long, drawn-out process?
You know, in my career, what I've learned, whenever I expect a finish, it turns into this crazy war. And usually when I expect a war, I usually get the finish. So I'm expecting it to be a crazy war, and we'll just see how it goes.
Hey, man. Is Kelvin an interesting guy to prepare for? Because on one hand, he's had these crazy performances against Adesanya, but then on the other one, he's had like sort of lackluster affairs with Darren Till, and he has a big range of how well he can compete on that night. Does that make him almost a weird guy to prepare for?
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what he has to decide who's going to show up, because we do see a different guy show up quite often, and for me, I have to prepare for the best guy, the best version of him. So we're preparing for that version, and whatever version he decides to show up, that'll be fine. But we'll be ready for the best one of that.
You mentioned he's on obviously this 3-fight skid.
Yeah.
Is there a chance he might try and fight really conservatively just to get that win? So you might have less openings to work with.
There is a chance, but my guess is probably not. He's probably going to come out swinging for the fences, and it's going to be a wild fight. So I really recommend fans to tune in Saturday.
You mentioned you learned a lot of lessons from fighting Derek Brunson. I was curious, exactly what lessons did you learn?
Well, I mean, that was my first big pay-per-view, right? I was on the card with Nate Diaz, and Cormier was on that card. I mean, big names, and just the pressure, the hype, and just kind of getting myself more worked up than it needed to be. And also just, some tricks in the cage, too, of just controlling your emotions. When I dropped him right away, I felt like I had a big adrenaline dump because I just, held my breath, and I was like, this is it. And just managing energy and really just some technical stuff inside there as well.
Do you take that stuff from the cage and then go and work on that in the gym? Do you sort of run scenarios where you refrain from following up on an injured guy or something like that? Do you work in the gym, or do you just have it as a mental preparation going into your next fight?
A little bit of both. If I see some stuff that he did good, we're going to work on that. But also just mentally, a lot of it was mental. We were in California in Anaheim, and every time you walk downstairs, you had so many fans and just people crowding you, and it's kind of an energy drain everywhere. I was leaking energy throughout the week. So when I got to the fight, I've never been that tired in the third round, and so I found some ways that I can really control that energy, hold it in, and be able to release it and fight the pace that I usually do.
In a weird way, then, does that make it better that there are no fans to bother you? Do these fight weeks help you conserve that energy going into fight night?
Oh yeah, a little bit, but it's all part of the experience. I like the fans. I like the whole experience of the entourage coming out and people being able to experience and be there with you. But I did learn a lot my last fight, right? I dropped Mearshart. I know he's a dangerous guy when he gets hurt. A lot of guys drop him and going for the kill and get subbed. So I was more patient, and without the fans, it was more calming. And I kind of took a lot out of that when there are fans, to be more patient and don't get that celebration until obviously the ref pulls you off.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.